There's give and take. There's give and take. If you want the spiritual, you probably lose in the natural. If you want the natural, you lose in the spiritual. There might be a way to increase both at the same time, but it will take some serious fasting and prayer, and I don't know because especially if it's like, if you're rubbing shoulder connections down here, if somebody's trying to make a lot of connections in the natural, and it might just be one connection, a spouse with kids, but let's say somebody's running a business. I mean, look at Elon. He's so connected in the natural. He's got all those businesses, right? Now, he might be to a point where he's got good managers where he can kind of isolate himself and be spiritual, but usually to be spiritual, you have to get isolated for a while. And if God is putting something on you, he's calling you out on something, he's going to isolate you anyway. It has nothing to do with you. It's really not your will. It's not in a man's way to direct his own steps. So think about that. If it's not in a man's way to direct his own steps, then every step that you take, you usually, okay, so I'm going to walk this way and take steps. So it's not even in your own thoughts to direct your own steps. Your thoughts are your own. This morning when I woke up, I was thinking you could take 100 people. You could take 100 women or 100 men and listen and sit down and talk to 100 people, and you could probably get the mindset of your wife. Or you could take 100 men and get the mindset of the average man. So you could 100 women, just talk to 100 women, just in detail, and you could probably get the mindset of one woman. At least get partiality. You get all these parts, and you could build a framework and see how most likely one woman thinks. And same with men. 100 men, listen to them talk, and you can get a framework about how most people talk. It might take 1,000. You might need 1,000 women to see how the average woman thinks, or 1,000 men to see how the average man thinks. Now, there's always going to be an exception to the rule, But your culture has programmed people, TV shows. I remember growing up, everybody used to talk about the Andy Griffith Show. That built the culture. See how that works? Different generations and different TV shows and different songs, it builds a culture. And we're being pulled in from a child and don't even know it. So then when you start to cut off the music, cut off the TV, cut off the noise, get away from those, like that's a sample of, let's say there was a sample of 100 people or 1,000 people, and you get away from that sample and you just go straight into the spirit realm, you're going to think different than the average common person, And so it's not necessarily a bad thing to have that sample. The average common person, the way they think, can help you to function down here. But then there comes a point where you learn to function. This is why people get into trouble. They usually marry the wrong one. Then they wake up after so many years, hey, I married the wrong one, and they start cheating. Then they find out that didn't work. Then they go across the street, think the grass is greener over there, and it wasn't any greener over there. So then they go back to the first one. And it's just like, or they might go to a different one. But there's a difference in the natural and the spiritual. The spirit realm, all the believers are one in spirit, you know. In the natural realm, the man and woman become one, but the problem is, what happens when one gets saved and one's not saved? Then you have confusion, because you got oneness in spirit, oneness in the natural, but the natural's never one. So without the oneness in the spirit, the ones in the natural, it's just an semblance. It's a semblance of, yeah, the two shall become one flesh, and 1 Corinthians 7 says the children are sanctified by the one believer. I understand that, but usually there's confusion and fighting, and there's two different kingdoms in one house, because one's going after the natural, the flesh, the other one's going after the spirit. So you got two people walking down here, connected down here, but disconnected up here. And you got some people connected up here, but disconnected down here. And it's like, this is a crazy place. You got some people connected in the spirit. I mean, they are sound doctrine. They're like in agreement to the hilt. But they're not connected down here. They never met down here. It's bizarre land. It's a crazy world, crazy reality, to be honest. But it makes total sense. When you really rightly divide it, it makes total sense, because the natural realm is the birthing realm. The spirit realm is your ultimate destiny, right? The spirit realm is when you grow up. The natural realm is the childish, fleshly, temporal realm. That's why, let's say two people who are saved, they get married, and then down here, they get married in the natural, and they still fight about stupid stuff. Why didn't you wash the dishes? Why did you say that? So you got the spirit. They're one in spirit, but down here in the natural, they have to deal with natural stupid stuff, you know. Even having to drive somewhere, to me, I mean, when you really do the meditation, I'm already there, my destination. Why do I have to drive there? Why can't I just say like that, I'm there? Stupid. It's ridiculous. Seriously, like this tailgater, look at this. Look at that. Why in the world do I have to drive somewhere? It's just a type and shadow it's a type and shadow of the spirit, okay? So I'm going somewhere and I have to get in my car and I drive there. How ridiculous is that? I should be able to think it and be there, because I'm already there in my mind anyway. And you might say, what is he talking about? If you don't know what I'm talking about, come back in 5 years. There shouldn't be any separation from the believers. There shouldn't be any separation. This is what I'm talking about, being in the flow. I actually can see it. How ridiculous it is that if I want to go over there, I have to get in my car and go over there, when it's just a type and shadow of my destiny. I'm actually already there. If I can think it and see it, I'm already there. It's just a matter of the travailing and birth pain to get there. What is that a symbol of? Imagine you're born here. You travail in birth pains till Christ be formed in you. Then you're already there. So no matter if I'm there or here or wherever I am, I'm still there. I'm still here. H-E-R-E is in every single one of those words for a reason. There, T-H-E-R-E, W, H-E-R-E, here, H-E-R-E. That means there's no space and time. You're already there. You're already seated in the heavenlies. There's no space and time. But to the natural mind, to the five senses, it looks like there's space and time. But I promise you, every second that I'm driving, I'm in the same. Look at this dude. I'm in the same. That guy was indecisive. Indecisive. The reason I see people who are indecisive, and it makes me mad, because you got to make a decision in life, whatever it is. You got to make decisions. If you're indecisive, you're double-minded, right? A double-minded man's unstable in all his ways. You've got to make decisions. You've got to make decisions, and you got to stick with that decision. And if you don't, it's going to mess you up. I need to say that again for my own benefit. A double-minded man's unstable in all his ways. A double-minded man's unstable in all his ways. So you have to be decisive. You have to make a decision. Yeah, you could go this way or that way. There might be more opportunity this way, but if you make a decision to go this way, you just stay with the decision. Because if you keep changing your, well, I should have took that decision. I should have went there. I should have went there. If you keep doing that, you'll never get anywhere. I should have took that job. I should have married that woman. I should have done this. I should have done that. If you keep making indecisive choices, you're not going to get anywhere, and you're not going to accomplish anything. You make the decision, you deal with the consequences, and you do the best you can do with it. You know, if it gets to a point where it was just the wrong decision, big time, then you better change it. You know. I think that's why men lead. I think that's one of the reasons men are leaders. Because men can make a decision and that's it. Made the decision. I'm not changing. It seems like women have a hard time being decisive about things. Some women are not, but it seems like that's across the board. Well, I don't know if I should do this or do this or do this, because they're being pulled by kids and family and spouse, and they're being pulled in many directions, especially with the emotions, you know. Whereas a man makes a decision, and that's his decision. That's part of leadership, being decisive. Making a decision, being resolute. I'm not moving, I'm not changing, I'm stable, I'm solid in this path, you know. No distractions. Whereas a woman might say, oh, look at those pretty flowers over there. Let me go over there and smell the flowers. And the man says, I ain't got time for that. I'm on a mission. That's the difference right there. That has to be the difference. The decisiveness to lead. You've got to be decisive when you lead. Make a decision. If it's the wrong decision, oh well. Suffer loss. Learn from your mistakes. Think about what I'm telling you and see if it ain't true across the board. That's why men get frustrated, I think, with the wife, because the man makes a decision and they're sitting there questioning the decision. You're like, no, this is it. This is it. There's no other choice. Let's go. we made the decision. We're not changing our mind, you know. Anyway, the spirit realm versus the natural realm. Spirit realm is oneness. Natural realm is division. And the purpose of the division in the natural realm is to birth into oneness. And once you hit source code oneness, you know, this place is just, this place becomes ridiculous.